This video is going to be a little more negative than my usual ones. So originally I was going to set this video up just like I did my Falcon and Winter Soldier review-ish, where I was going to go character by character, tell like the flaws, the pros, the cons to them, maybe some of the missed opportunities, how I would possibly change them. But the thing about these characters is that they all suck. I can basically sum them up just like this: sassy brat, full of himself, and nothing but staring. That's it. These characters are nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. Go to my Twitter to see my, shameless plug. You can go to my Twitter to see the notes, like the exact notes that I was taking while watching the movie. You can go to my second channel to go see my first impressions. But this is review-ish. And like I said, originally it was going to be all set up nicely. There were going to be cool transitions. No, this movie was bad. I'm going to rant about it. Here it is on the ranking. It is below Captain Marvel. Below Captain Marvel. Why can't Marvel just write a good movie with a woman lead? So far, the best one with the woman superhero in the title is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Come on, guys. 3, 2, 1. The thing about this movie is that I knew it wasn't going to be good going into it. Like, I just had that feeling, like from the trailers, something just seemed off about it. And it's taking a character that we know so well, and I want to say that it flanderized Black Widow, made her in her most basic form, but it didn't even do that. It did worse than that. It did worse than flanderizing her. Take the past movies, for example. In Iron Man 2, yeah, she was just a bit of a sex symbol, whatever. But in Avengers, I think the reason why she works well as a character is the fact that she is the glue that holds the characters together. Like, she really is. When you look back on it, it's really her. She's kind of the only one who has a connection with every Avengers, with Iron Man, Steve Rogers, Bruce Banner, Hawkeye. Not Thor, though. It's kind of the only one. But you see what I mean. She held them all together, and that was built on more in Avengers: Age of Ultron. And then in Civil War, just as much as it's an Iron Man or a Captain America movie, she is like the third pillar in that movie. She's the third main character when you look at that movie. And then in Avengers Endgame was a perfect way to send her off. She finally came full circle. She realized, hey, this is where I belong, like, this is my family, right? And thankfully this movie doesn't, like, fully crap on that or spit in the face of her. But I don't know. She just becomes this basic, I'm going to stare, I'm going to say. She's a quote book. She is a quote book. She literally just says heroic quote, heroic quote, heroic quote, family quote, quip. Like, when you think basic Marvel film, what all the Marvel haters kind of say, oh, all they do is quip, oh, the action is basic, oh, the blah, blah, blah. That's this film. For other films you can argue about it. It's like, well, not every film they're just constantly, like, shooting quips and having awful attempts at comedy. This one is that film. This one is literally everything wrong with Marvel summed up in one movie, and it's this movie. That's the best way I can describe how Black Widow is, and that sucks. Hey, true to form, it feels like a Phase 1 film. Like, it really does. It feels like a film that would come out right after Iron Man 2. Oh my god, it's such a disappointment. Thank God we have the Disney Plus shows, or this being Marvel's return would have sucked. Like, really sucked. Scarlett Johansson deserved better than this. A better send-off. The Avengers Endgame was a better send-off than this was. It truly was. And it sucks. All the other characters are just so uninteresting. There's a segment where Red Guardian is in the prison, and he's arm wrestling. He's talking about his fights with Captain America. And that's like a thing for him, is that he's kind of like, a weird way to compare it is he's kind of like Mr. Incredible in the second Incredibles movie. How he's like reminiscing about the good old days and just wants those back as Red Guardian, and he's telling stories about how he fought Captain America. And the one guy's like, when did this take place? And he's like, oh, in the 80s. It's like, Captain America was in the ice then. And they're like, oh, he wasn't actually going on missions and stuff. He was just all lying about it, and once it actually does want to go on. That makes sense. That's kind of interesting for his character. And then he meets up with Black Widow, and he's like, so, did he ever talk about me? She's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, Captain America, did Captain America talk about me? What? The joke you're trying to make is that, oh, Captain America doesn't even remember him. Like, Captain America's such a big deal to him, but not vice versa, the other way around. But the joke doesn't work because you clearly set up that he never actually fought Captain America. So he knows the answer he's going to be getting in that scenario. He knows that Captain America could have never talked about him. So he's just going out and making a fool. The joke doesn't work. That's a big thing with this movie. They keep trying to make jokes. The sister, Yelena, is just a quip machine. Like, you thought Iron Man was bad at that? No. She's, I'm kind of sassy, you know. Haha, you're an Avenger? You're a superhero? Why do you do a pose? Why do you do a pose? She says typical action movie stuff. This is a cool way to die. This isn't a cool way to die. It's so annoying. And then there's the one scene where the Red Guardian, I can't even remember their names, where Red Guardian is like, they're all mad at him. She's like, is it that time of the month again? And she goes on this, 1 minute rant about her vagina. What? It's so bad. It's so bad. The joke does not work at all. They're trying to do a similar thing to, the Ego's penis scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but it doesn't work because the joke is that he ruined a woman. And it wouldn't even work as, dark comedy, because first of all, you haven't been using dark comedy. Second of all, it just doesn't work, even for a dark comedy level. It just doesn't work. It's just awkward. It's not funny. She goes into detail about how you just ripped everything out and destroyed her and it's that's not funny. In no world would that be funny. What? One thing I'm surprised they didn't do is they didn't have any big feminist moment, you know? Normally they have I was totally expecting Black Widow to be like, we're woman, or we are women. And we're strong, something like that, when she saved all the Black Widows. But no, good for them. Also good for them to not do a cameo from any of the major Avengers, except for the post-credit scene, but that barely counts. But they still wouldn't shut up about the Avengers. This doesn't feel like a Black Widow movie. This feels like an Avengers spin-off movie. And that's so bad. The QT, I don't know if there's a way to pronounce it, but who is that guy? Who? I get that some characters, you don't want to bother introducing, but who was that? They don't even mention them being friends or anything. It's just here's a guy, here's how I got the plane. You could have just put a hijacked scene in there. I don't know. This movie is not good at all, and I could just rant on for hours of why it's bad. I was severely disappointed going into this. God. The post-credit scene. So, there wasn't a special credits at the end. You know how normally you get, the special graphic credits and then the regular ones? It just immediately, right after, the ending scene, it cut to her with the blonde hair. I don't know if that was supposed to happen. That was just kind of weird theater experience for me. But then the post-credit scene, it's the only thing that really connects itself to any other Marvel project. I think it's just saying, hey, she's going to be in a Hawkeye show. She's going to start off as a villain for, one episode and then work with him. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Yelena's going to be the new Black Widow. So, this doesn't... I was really looking forward to this. Not really looking... But, stuff like Red Guardian. When they set up the Veil, whatever her name is, in Falcon Winter Soldier, it's this is going to be interesting. They can put Red Guardian in that, that could be really cool. But now I don't want to see more of him, because he's not... And the guy's a good actor. A really good actor. But it was just bad. It's bad. There were the occasional... bit. I think the only scenes that I was sitting there, I was this is actually pretty interesting, was the plane scene at the beginning with the guy on the wing. I was it's kind of cool. And then the skydiving scene, I was that's kind of cool. That's my only thought was, that's kind of cool. Everything else was just awful. The comedy, every time they made a joke, tried to make a joke, I'm just oh, jeez, man, jeez. And every time they make it, I'm just it's not going to get better. I'm hoping, maybe the finale will fix it. Nope, the finale's basic. She made fun of the main villain. She's you're just a little baby, you're gonna poop in your pants. She didn't actually say that, but that's basically what it was, and he got mad at her, and I was just oh my god. The villain was super uninteresting. Taskmaster, I didn't even mention Taskmaster. Taskmaster, you know why? Because they butchered it. Taskmaster is an interesting character in the comics, and they butchered it. I don't know. This movie was underwhelming, disappointing. I wasn't super looking forward to it that much. The trailers made me kind of think, it's not going to be that great. But Shang-Chi is next. And that is a movie I'm looking forward to. I'm honest, It started out not being a movie. I was like, now I'm really looking forward to Shang-Chi. Not just because of Abomination and stuff like that, but just because it actually looks like a really good film. Please. Please don't disappoint. But if the record goes to show, I'm also not looking forward to Eternals because the trailers look boring as hell. So, I showed y'all my ranking of Black Widow. At the end of the year, after Spider-Man, I'm going to be doing a redo of my ranked video. So I'm going to be going back through it. So, look forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. If you're a hardcore Marvel fan, maybe watch Black Widow. It's up to you. It's really not important for anything. Like, literally, it's not important. Actually not important. And if you aren't a hardcore Marvel fan, don't see it. It's not good. It's not worth your time. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Video over.